Alabama, and he just went ham, 4 touchdowns. And at that point, the SEC was not integrated, so Bear Bryant said to himself, look, man, we got to get us a couple of them brothers on our team, too. And thus, all the national championships that the Alabama Crimson Tide are really owed, let's be honest, to the great Sam Cunningham. And he also played over a decade, or almost a decade, for the New England Patriots. So we'll talk to him, catch up with Sam Cunningham on this Throwback Thursday. All right, the number is 404-382-0338. Let's go ahead and grab a call. We got callers holding. Let's talk to, who do we got here? Is this Big Mar? Is it Big Mar? Thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What you got?
Hey, Doug.
Yes.
This is Derek from Birmingham.
This is Derek from Birmingham. My bad. How you doing, Derek?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I want to give you a little backstory on that Sam Bam Cunningham thing.
Go ahead.
That Bryant actually, he in 1959 when they got invited to the Liberty Bowl to play Penn State, the administration told him to turn down the game because Penn State was integrated, but he went and played them anyway. And he tried to get black players on the team, and the administration and George Wallace wouldn't let him. As a matter of fact, I think it was 66 or 67, they had 5 black guys participate in the spring football practice.
Right.
And he knew, and what happened was, Alabama was going out to the West Coast playing these teams, but he knew that if he could get somebody down south to play in front of the people who were fighting him so hard and show them the athletes they were missing out on, he knew that was still the tide.
Wow.
And I mean, and so literally and figuratively, I mean, when you talk to people who knew him, because it was some older cats, back in the day, you could sit down and talk to them, go how they sit down and have coffee and just talking, just listening.
Barbershop talk.
Inwardly, he was happy, not that they lost the game, but he could have the door open so that he could get the players he needed.
Wow. Yeah, and I think I've seen that where it talked about he tried to get black players earlier, and because of opposition, and you just talked about George Wallace, it didn't happen, but it took the fans in Alabama to see it firsthand and get their ass kicked that they had to make those changes.
Hey, we from the South, so, once you get that one good ass whooping, that changes your mindset.
Exactly right. Thank you for the call, Derek from Birmingham. And Derek called 404-382-0338. Yeah, just tremendous. And he brought up George Wallace, and we know George Wallace and his stand against integration in schools in Alabama. And I've seen clips of George Wallace later, after all of that, where it was changed and they did allow black kids to go to public schools in the state of Alabama. And he showed remorse, and he regretted it. But he looked bad as hell, at the onset. And it kind of reminds me of this whole thing with Daniel Snyder going on with the Redskins name issue in D.C. And history is not going to bode well for him. It's just not. And George Wallace, I don't know how much of a racist he was back in Alabama when all of this was going on in civil rights, but the video footage of him standing in front of those schools with the police and the batons, not wanting these black kids to come to school, it looks bad. You may have a change of heart and you may have an awakening down the road, but it's on videotape that you are racist as hell, and it's just not good. And the same thing with Daniel Snyder, because it's going to change. They are going to change this name in D.C. at some point. It might not be this year, might not be next year, but at some point they are going to have to change this name because it's just bad and it's silly and it's stupid. And so when Daniel Snyder's fighting this thing, tooth and nail, the video is going to remain. His comments are going to remain in media. That's never going to go away. And sure as ish, 20 years down the road, after this thing has changed, he's going to have, a different mindset and a different thought. But it's too late. It's too late, dude. You on record with this view and this idiotic explanation of why you want to continue to keep the Redskin name, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's talk to Big Mar. Big Mar is now on the phone with the Doug Stewart Show. Big Mar, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What you got?
Doug, what's up, man? It's Big Mar from Omaha. How you living, man?
I'm good, man. How about you? Thank you for calling, brother.
Man, I'm so happy, man. My Kansas City Royals is back in the World Series, man. It's been since '85. I remember I was 8 years old, man. We got out of school that day when the Royals won, man. So I'm happy, man. I just don't have the words to express how happy I am. And we got brothers. We got real brothers from the U.S. on this team, man, doing it big.
Right.
I mean, brothers that speak the English, man. The Renzo Kane and them, man,
right.
They're making it happen, brother, man. So I just wanted to call in and give a shout-out to my Royals, man. I wanted to give a shout-out to you, man. I've been a fan for a long time of you and your brother, man. It's good to hear you back on the airwaves, man. I'm a big supporter.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, Big Mar. Thank you very much. And, yeah, congratulations to your Kansas City Royals as they get it done. And they sweep. They sweep both of their series. And I love these type of stories. Now, you know, honestly, I was rooting for Baltimore. And I guess the reason why is because outside of Big Mar, who I've met before on occasion at remotes, I believe this is the same Big Mar that I'm thinking of. Outside of him, I don't know anybody really from Kansas City, and I know several people from Baltimore. I've never been to Kansas City, been to Baltimore a couple of times, so yeah. And I like, and I mentioned this as well earlier in the week. I like the Orioles uniform. I like the little logo with the smiling Oriole, and but it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be, and they are playing fantastic in Kansas City, so you got to give them a lot of props. They doing the damn thing. So whoever they play in this World Series, either it be San Francisco or St. Louis, they have to be the odds-on favorite because right now they're just hot as fish grease. The Kansas City Royals are hot as fish grease. And we're also talking today about things that you'd like to see come back or go away in reverse in honor of the Kansas City Chiefs doing these big things, or the Kansas City Royals, doing these big things in the postseason of baseball. Let me read a couple of these messages on Spreaker.com, and that's where you can listen to the show. You can listen to the show on Spreaker.com, as well as just go straight to my website, thedougstewartshow.com, and both of them have their own app, so there's no reason not to listen to the Doug Stewart Show. From James Cooper says, we Notre Dame fans are counting on that South Carolina boy Golson to handle his business. That's right. Everett Golson, a quarterback for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, is from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So Notre Dame's had great success with quarterbacks from the state of South Carolina, as you know that Everett Golson is from South Carolina. And you also know quarterback name that's eluding my mind right now is from Woodruff, South Carolina. Tony Rice, the great Tony Rice, who won a national championship with Lou Holtz, who we're going to have on the show a little bit later today. He's from Woodruff, South Carolina. So it might be deja vu for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish as they take on, if they get this win, and basically what they're calling this game this weekend between Notre Dame and Florida State is this is a play-in game for the Final Four in the new playoff system this year, because pretty much these two teams, this is their toughest game. So chances are, if they get past this win, if they win this weekend, whoever wins will probably have a spot, or odds chance that they'll have a spot in this Final Four playoff new this year to college football. So this is a huge game. From Kendall, he says, Chris Webber is part of the group called the Webber Group that is interested in the Hawks. Okay. So earlier, someone had sent me a message saying that Chris Webber was on TV talking about his desire to buy the Atlanta Hawks, and I hadn't heard of that conversation. So I guess this is kind of new news, and that would be good. I think that would be good. I mean, he'd make ownership in the NBA a lot younger. I mean, because Chris Webber is relatively young. Chris Webber got a lot of swag, and he's got a lot of influence, and he knows a lot of people still connected to the league. I like that. If Chris Webber can put together a group in his namesake and to buy the Atlanta Hawks, maybe that would change the fortunes of the organization. Because I said it before, the Hawks have never, ever been able to attract free agents. And the funny thing about it is 90% of them ninjas live in Atlanta. They do. They do. And so they got off-season homes here. And, you know, Atlanta's known as Black Hollywood. And so, you know, we have a big influence of Black America here in this city. But the guys will live here, but damn it, they're not going to play for the Hawks. And that's always been bad. So I think that would be a real good look if Chris Webber were able to buy the Atlanta Hawks. I think that'd be a great look. Let's see who we got here. Fred Mack, bring back switches, keep these kids out of jail. I don't know if I say bring back switches, and I don't think switches have gone away in some parts of this country, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. There's some grandmamas in my hometown right now still whooping ass with switches. All right. And I mentioned how I never really got switches from my parents. And that was really just because there were no bushes in our yard. Okay. But I got plenty of ass cuttings by a switch by my grandmother. Yes. So she had all of the bushes in her yard, and she simply said, go out there and get me a switch, and I'm going to whoop your ass. Yes. And grandmas back then, they cussed. I don't know about your grandmama, but my grandma used to cuss like a sailor. Yes. And maybe that's a Southern thing. Maybe that's a Southern black grandmama thing, but my grandmama used to cuss like a sailor while she was whooping my ass. Yes. So I feel you on that, man, Fred Mack. Kendo, Nalaman, I was thinking the same thing. I guess he's talking about some of the conversation we had about hip-hop a little bit earlier and bringing back some of the old-school hip-hop artists, paying tribute to some of the guys, the architects of the game. That would be a real good thing. That would be a great thing if they could do that. All right, we're talking about things that you like to bring back, and also, as well, some things that you like to see go that you don't want to see around anymore because it's just terrible. It's just terrible. 404-382-0338. One thing I don't want to see brought back is biker shorts. Do not bring back biker shorts. No. Yeah, that's horrible. And I'm glad there are no pictures of me with biker shorts out there that I've seen. I don't, and listen, I mean, I can wear biker shorts and not be embarrassed because, I'm kind of blessed. But that's neither here nor there. It's nasty. But dudes walking around the street, and back in, when was that? When did we wear biker shorts? I think I was probably like in middle school, maybe? I had to be in middle school. So we're talking the early 80s, 80, 81, 82. Biker shorts was on fire in South Carolina. Yes. And maybe it was a South Carolina thing. And maybe they didn't wear biker shorts in Cali or Michigan or wherever, but in South Carolina, maybe because we were just country as hell and we thought it was cool. I don't know. But biker shorts were big back when I was growing up in the early 80s. So don't bring that back. It's just nasty. You got ball imprints all up in people's face. Don't do that. That's not good. All right, when we get back from the break, I'm going to play an interview, Stu's Flashback. Lou Holtz, or facsimile thereof, that we did a couple of years ago. Just real funny stuff. Lou had a problem calling me by my correct name. His diction isn't the greatest. So the great Lou Holtz, when we get back from the break, call somebody that used to listen to the show that doesn't listen or hadn't listened for this new show and tell them that we're going to play an interview from the great Lou Holtz. Don't go away. Keep it locked. It's the Doug Stewart Show. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at you both. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Yes! I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, I know you better not be talking long distance on that phone running up my bill with that old hussy. Well, get with the times with your long distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60 plus countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedugstewartshow.com or the link on the DougStewartShow.com app. Try out Univon and call your people like you not at your mama house. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple store